Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. Okay, it's lucky number 13, 13 ways to see beyond the pandemic. So once again, I mentioned this is made possible to Indiana Disaster Risk Reduction Management Unit, or IDRRMU, in cooperation with IEU Guidance. We also like to thank our CEO, Mr. Harold Turing, our school director, Dr. Linita Ligaspi, Basic Ed School Principal, Ma'am Yuli Kayudi, for making this webinar possible. So guys, once again, my name is Darwin. I will be your host moderator for today. Now, 2020, what a year is 2020. This is a year na entirely new for us, not only the Philippines, but all over the world. So we experienced a worldwide pandemic called COVID-19. So new term is coming like a social distancing, or we have the wearing of masks. We have the new normal. So is 2020 really that bad? What about the coming 2020, 2021? Okay, as what my calendar says, there's only 12 days to go before Christmas, and 3 weeks from now, New Year na. So is it really that bad, or there's a saying, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. For every problem, there's an opportunity, and for every problem, an opportunity, and sometimes problem could be opportunity in disguise. So guys, wherever you are right now, whether you're a student, you're a teacher, or you're a parent, whether you're in your office, whether you are in your car, whether you're in the beach, wherever you are right now, I want you to listen carefully to this webinar, because this is very relevant in these trying times. And we have invited a very one of the best experts, I feel to say. So this is a rare opportunity. Please listen carefully during the entire webinar, okay? So to formally do the opening remarks, I would like to give to you our campus ministry instructor, and also one of our college faculty, Mrs. Glinda D. Patinia. Ma'am Glenda.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Sir Darwin, for that introduction. Is my audio clear?
Yep, it's good, ma'am.
Very clear, ma'am, very clear.
Thank you. Okay. First of all, I would like to greet everyone. Good afternoon, especially to the admin, IAU admin, headed by, of course, our very own Sir Harold, and our director, school director, Dr. Legaspi, and to the rest of the staff, and to my colleagues, and to my students as well. Good afternoon. And before anything else, I would like to thank Ms. Lot for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this webinar. Okay, so let me start, and I want this to be engaging. So I would be asking favor from you. Would that be okay? Okay? So
Yes.
what are those favors? Okay, now first is, may I ask you to open your camera? Go, go, go. Let's have...
Right, guys, open your camera.
And of course, turn on your microphone.
Don't be shy.
All right, again, thank you so much for your cooperation. You know, this is really very important to stay connected, and despite of this situation, we're able to engage and to be connected with each other. Anyway, so all right, so I hope you have opened your camera and turn on your microphone. Okay, thank you so much. So there would be 3 phrases that I would be asking from you, coupled with a TPR, a total physical reaction. Now, this is one technique very effective in teaching, especially with elementary. Okay, so what is this? First phrase that I would be asking you to say is, I want you to say this. Follow my action, okay? I am blessed.
I am blessed.
Okay.
I am blessed.
I am
blessed.
I am blessed.
Number 2, okay, you pretend that there's someone beside you, and you tell the person beside you, Tell the person beside you, you are blessed.
You are blessed.
Are blessed.
You are blessed, Sister Darwin.
Shout.
Yes.
All right, let's have number 3, okay? Number 3 is we are blessed.
We are blessed.
Are blessed.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And truly, we are blessed this afternoon. You see, in every difficult, well, we cannot deny the fact that we are in a difficult situation, no? But there is something good in every difficult situation if we know how to look at it positively. You know what? Just this morning, I had my final exam in one of my graduate studies. And what happened? Nagkabali-bali akong answer. Kaya di man ko texting. Oh my goodness. But, you know, it's beautiful. I still managed to smile. And, you know, I'm so excited to be here, looking forward in this seminar. So because in this webinar rather, I can meditate, I can relax, meaning ko move on ako. And of course, thank the Lord for all the graces. So I would be asking you to get a pen, your journal if you have one, and I want you to write some striking points that you would get from this webinar. And, you know, one thing that we can really grow spiritually is to put everything in our hearts. No, so after this webinar, do not just leave the place. Usually, what I would do is really to reflect on those words and then ponder, and then get something. You know, get the messages, and I would ask the Lord, Lord, what do you want me to do? Okay. So in Anna, so again, list down all the important points that would struck you. Okay. So I know I'm not going to introduce our speaker, but I would like to share this with you, that our speaker is, of course, my professor and my re-ed in Don Bosco. He was teaching the youth ministry. And of course, if I can relate to the youth, it is because I owe it to him. He is really a blessing to us this afternoon, and I would like to thank him before he would start. Magpasalamat na ko daan ni Father Joriz for sharing us this blessing and for giving us this wonderful blessing this afternoon. So again, thank you so much and have a wonderful reflection at this webinar. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Mom Glenda, for that wonderful and, what can I say, very interactive opening remarks. Thank you, Mom Glenda. Okay, so before I proceed with our next part of our webinar, I also like to acknowledge our Student Affairs Director, Ma'am Luz Kahiyagan, because she played a big part in this webinar.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Ma'am Luz.
Hello there. Hello, Aerospacers.
Aero Aerospacers, yeah, we are alive and well listening to this webinar right now. So to formally introduce our guest speaker for today, I would like to call on our IDRRMU coordinator, the very smart and the very active and the ever hardworking Mr. Adrian Joseph D. Adaptar. Sir Adrian?
Hello, good afternoon. Sir Darwin, thank you for that one. Good afternoon, our dear Aerospacers. So it is my distinct honor to introduce our speaker for this afternoon. So our resource speaker is an ordained priest of the Salesians of Don Bosco, whose charism is ministering youth people. He is a true-blooded Bosconian Salesian, having studied all his life since kindergarten in Don Bosco School until his postgraduate licentiate course in theology. He majored in youth ministry and catechistics at the Salesians Pontifical University in Rome and graduated magna cum laude. He is presently assigned as the head of the Salesians Commission on Youth for Visayas and Mindanao, and at the same time the vicar of St. Joseph the Worker Parish in Victorias Negros Occidental. One of his recent achievements was publishing a book on youth ministry last February this year entitled Better Than Life, a youth ministry based on CARE framework, which was at the top of the three finalists at the recently concluded 14th Cardinal Sin Catholic Book Awards, which was held in Manila. He also finished his BS Ed major in literature and took up studies in organizational development at St. Benilde LaSalle in Manila. In short, he is an apostle and friend of the youth. Airspacers, please help me in welcoming Reverend Father Joriz Foz Calsa. A big round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Is my audio clear?
Yes,
Yes,
Father.
Father.
Yes.
Thank you. And greeting to all aerospacers and especially the Bosconian out there. So let me share my screen to you. Is it out?
Yes,
Yes, Father.
yes, we can see
Okay.
it, Father.
Yes, Father Nan.
Thank you. So thank you for inviting me. I don't know if I can still have the charisma to give a talk because I am now in the pastoral field. I am in the haciendas and barrios preaching to the carabaos, no, to the simple people of the barrios. So I'm happy to be invited. And first of all, the title I gave is Lucky Number 13. You know very much that I think I was invited because of the religious slants of the how to go beyond the pandemic, and very much when we turn the year, when we enter a new year, there are a lot of superstitious belief like collecting 13 round fruits and many other things, that we learn from other religions. But I think in looking forward, especially to a new year, we need to have more foundational, or shall we say, establish something that we can control. Because uh, I I I hope I will not spoil your afternoon. COVID is here to stay with us, to celebrate New Year with us, no? Pero at least there is already the vaccine from other countries which is available. You know, when we want, sorry, when we want to create something beautiful in our lives, we need to see first the foundation of what truly we are made of. For example, if we want to cook on something, I think the very first thing that we need to do is to look at the ingredients, available ingredients. Because who knows, no? We want to cook, for example, adobo, yet you lack the ingredients, and therefore you can only make a good soup rather than the main dish. So in this COVID-19, I think it has caught us all off guard. And I mean very literally, from the individuals, from families, communities, countries, and the entire world. You remember when the news about COVID came out, we just celebrated New Year actually. The time of being together with the family. No, we had a Misa de Gallo, uh, many parties from different sectors. Some of us even had a very good New Year's resolution. And then all of a sudden, bang, the COVID enters into the picture. And for the first time, we look like the in a real science fiction movie. All of us were wearing masks, no? And then we are all behind closed doors. Can you imagine that, behind closed doors, and then wearing face shields? And you remember when the first face shields came out, it cost almost 200 pesos. And now it's only 13, 15, 10 pesos. Pati yun, ninegosyo nila. And travel was cut. I, for one, even had to stay in Cebu for 3 months before I can travel here in Negros. And I have to travel via Manila pa, no, in order to reach Negros. And of course, public mass gathering was suspended. A lot lost their work. And I hope not your parents. Businesses are closing, classes resumed, and boy, how difficult the online and the modular classes, and it's a domino effect. No, a lot, if not everyone, was affected by this. And exactly, um, since January, month by month, there is something happening which is not expected, and in fact, to a larger degree. And therefore, a lot of students, professionals, even adults, are very much affected. And that is why I showed some series of, webinars about mental health issues, no? And I, for one, no, I'm really very excited to learn about it because we don't talk about it before. But when COVID came, at least there were greater awareness. And of course, unless there is a vaccine, we will continue to be to be in this kind of situation. But there are solutions coming out, no? And that's the good news. My dear aerospacers, for me, the advantage of this COVID, no, may goodness pa rin siya, shall we say, quote unquote, is it's a reset button for most of us. Not to reset year 2020, my God, no, please no. But to reset ourselves. Try to see, no, how we can scan ourselves, and this is what I will do with all of us today. We will try to scan ourselves in and out, and then let us see how we can better ourselves in facing 2021. 2021 will come and we don't know what will happen. But if we have a positive vibes of presenting ourselves with the new year, I think that is more important, the attitudinal, no, aspect. That is why I would say there should be a lot of conscious effort here, no? We need to really double our efforts to really help ourselves here. You know, COVID, the good news of COVID also is this is temporary. Huh? Please underline that word, temporary. And it is temporarily making havoc, although it's a major disturbance. But I believe, just like any other from history, there will always be a solution. No? So, you know, as a foundation, I want us to understand this easily and let us not deny this basic knowledge, no? That we people are actually made up of body and soul. This is so basic that if you deny that you don't have any body, what are you? You're coming from a different portal, no? Because you are floating on air. And since you're a soul, we cannot see you. Or when you say you don't have a soul, then what is your life source? You cannot deny that. Or how can you live without a soul? No, therefore you're a bangkay or a zombie, and that is even fictional. So that is why this is where I will uh, share to you 13 points to go beyond this pandemic, the integration of our body and soul. Because sometimes we only overlook on the bodily needs, no? Wherein most of our bodily needs are externally done. But in our soul, no, what is important is the within. In Tagalog, the kalooban has to be addressed also. Meron pang isang word, kaloob-looban, the innermost being of being a human person. So this is my target here, and I hope I will try to make it simpler, and hopefully you will understand, no, that we need in facing the new year an integrated me, which will result to an integrated we. No, so here I will be sharing to you 13 tips on how our body and soul can be good friends together. Huh? Kasi sometimes we separate our body and bodily needs and our spirit's need. But this time, let's make them friends. No, that would be a very good New Year's resolution. Let's make our body and our soul as friends. So, how do we cope up with this pandemic? I think you've been hearing a lot of webinars and this word, mindfulness. This is a psychological terminology of trying to, appreciate the giftedness of the present. may ginamit na word si Saint Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits. He is not calling it mindfulness, but he is calling it awareness of the present giftedness that we have. Minsan, ganun eh. You know, the danger of people is we are so organized na we don't have any more spaces to discover new things, like unstructured moments. That's one. Another danger of a human being is he always thinks of very far things, of future. Pero, you know, for me, and this is my premise, and this is also my conclusion, that I think what is needed in this moment of crisis is a very good day-to-day, small or big decision making. Huh? So I want you to remember that it's a day-to-day struggle. It's a day-to-day commitment. You know, every time I married someone, I always tell them that prayer on the television, the family that prays together stays together. But I have my own version, the family that prays together, together save each day. So it's a daily commitment. And for me, mindfulness is exactly like this. We have to be aware of our present giftedness. So, my dear aerospacers, um, indeed, as we enter into the door of 2021, this is a kind of challenge for us. Maybe for some, you're doing this already, but for others, please emphasize on the day to day decisions. So, let me now share to you uh, 6 points. These are actually a kind of rehash of what you have taken already from the mental health issues or seminars that you have been to already. Because I believe that you have been informed already of many mental health, tips. And for me, I would like to emphasize only six, no? Minding our bodies, huh? Only six. So number one, my dear friends, first, let us mind our eyes. Huh? Our eyes are not just used only to see things, but have the habit to see the good in everything. Have the habit to see the good in everything, especially in these pandemic times. Because in the normal days, I think we are getting used to seeing the negative things. Especially, may term tayo, himantayon. Yan. No? Madali nating makita yung mga defects, yung mga wrongdoings, or yeah, we have a bias seeing all those things. But, in mindfulness, no, in minding our eyes, we are challenged to see the good in everything. With this, you will develop a deep sense of gratitude. Sa totoo lang, ha? Mas mabilis ka maging thankful, no, in everything because you see grace. There is a story of a little girl who, for the first time, she went to the barrio. And in the barrio, in the rural area setting, there are not really so many rich people, and therefore houses are not so much lit, especially at night. And so, since it's her first night, she went out of the house, looked up into the sky, and screaming, coming back to the house, inside the house, and says, "Mommy, mommy, please get out of the house, get out of the house." And the mommy was so nervous because she thought there was a wild animal attacking the daughter. But when she arrived, so what happened? What happened? Mommy, look up, because the little girl was so amazed for the very first time, seeing clearly in a pitch dark billions of stars. My goodness. Such a simple thing. No, it's always there every day. But for this child, she's teaching us to mind the giftedness of what we see. So please mind your eyes. The second is mind your ears. Mind your ears. For BTS fans, hindi ko kilala sino yan. Nakopya ko lang yan. Mind your ears. Again, especially in this pandemic, wherein in almost every nook and corner, there are crises that you can hear. please do listen to good vibes, good stories, and enough with all the dramas. Enough with all the dramas. I'm sorry for the K-pop drama followers out there and the Netflix drama followers, pero enough with all the dramas that condition your mind that everything is also a drama. What you feed is what you get. So especially in this time of pandemic, may I invite you, my dear friends, to choose what you listen to and also avoid listening to people or news that always narrate negative vibes, especially if you know that you can easily be stressed in this pandemic times. So it's all about you. Please take care of yourself. Alam mo na stress ka na, makikinig ka pa ng mga ganon, explosive, no? So mind your ears. The third is mind your mouth. I love this image. Ang laki-laki ng bunganga, pati mata. Mind your mouth. You know, a quick reference says, the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. So, what often comes out of your beautiful mouth? Or are you talking? Or are you even conversing? You know, before coming here in Negros, I was assigned in Cebu for a long time. I'm a 19-year-old priest, and this is the first time I assigned in my very own native place. You know, before coming here, I have witnessed two young people just like you, of your age, who experience mild psychosis. Good thing, no good thing, their parents brought them to the church because they thought they were possessed by the evil spirits. And since I have some trainings how to assess depression and those kinds of mental issues, then when I assessed it, my goodness, it was a mild psychosis. You know, what's the root cause? Irregular schedule. Irregular sleep, irregular eating habits, no screen break, not even talking to people around them. No, so screen dependent. And you know, when I saw our young people from the parish experiencing mild psychosis, I was crying inside my room. I cannot even imagine, because I was just preaching this, and then all of a sudden, here comes young people suffering. So I have to bring them in Vicente Soto in the psychiatric department. And thanks be to God, after they were able to sleep, they recovered, and there were some volunteers from our parish who followed them up, especially through counseling and spiritual guidance. So mind your mouth, meaning to say, aside from what's coming out, are you also taking time to converse with people? It's so important, not just to converse in front of a screen, but real people, because with real people, there are emotions and feelings coming out. So mind your mouth. The fourth one, are you still with me? Am I still connected?
Yes,
Yep.
Father.
Yes,
Yes,
Father, very
Father.
much
Yes, Father.
Yes,
Thank
Father.
you.
We can
Thank
hear
you.
you very well, Father.
So the fourth is mind your temperature. You know, when COVID came, it introduced new protocols on health, And every time we enter establishment, tinitira tayo ng baril, thermal. You know what? It's fun, when security guards or people in the church, tirahin ka ng thermal gun, please have fun, Have fun kasi it's so boring, that kind of work. So have fun. Hulaan mo anong temperature mo. And in that way, it will strike conversation and makat yung boredom of those people, who is targeting you with the thermal gun. I always do that one, especially here in the church. 26.3, ay Father, mali. 23 point, ay sorry nainitan kasi ako, etc. So mind your temperature. I'm not referring to the thermometer, but I'm referring here whether you are cool or hot-headed. Particularly, how is your mood? Mainit ka ba ngayon? Malamig bang ulo mo? So what makes you moody today? Because especially for young people, and of course adults are not exempted here, especially this pandemic times, it's noticeable that we easily change mood. So, what can make us preventive, especially in not becoming moody? By minding what are the triggers. You know, a gun will not shoot without pulling the trigger. In the same manner for us, our mood might change because of triggers. So what can trigger your mood changes? Of course, every person has its own triggers. No, for example, for me personally, what can trigger my mood change? If I'm very tired, if I'm very exhausted, and then people are hard-headed, then pwede akong umuso kasi very honest si Father. Ano naman sa inyo, no? So what or who controls your mood? Please try to enumerate or try to see what are these triggers so that pwedeng maiwasan. Ha? Pwede nating maiwasan. The fifth one is mind your nose. Yan, ha? Mind your nose. We have an idiomatic expression which says, I smell something fishy. Of course, there's no fish around, but it refers to that you are noticing or feeling something irregular happening. Halimbawa, may nawawala na collection sa misa. I smell something fishy here. Or maybe, for example, yung iba, ang tagal-tagal na nagwe-webinar, hindi pa rin nakikita yung muka. Siguro natutulog na to, no? So I smell something fishy. But there's a catch here. Sometimes our interpretation may not also be precise. And it can cause conflict between people because we are interpreting how people feel. No? And therefore, the best way to know is to ask rather than interpret. My dear friends, we were not born guessers. Kasi if we were born guessers, manghuhula, I think all of us are already, shall we say, rich because we can guess the right number for Lotto. I for one siguro, if I'm a certified guesser, siguro mayaman ang simbahan namin. We can build houses for the poor. But we're not born guessers. But the best way to know is to ask rather than interpret. No? For example, there is this guy who saw her friend, and their friend is gaining weight. And so, especially for a woman, you make fun of her weight, patay ka. Ha? So instead of saying, tumataba ka na, is that fruit of pandemic? Maybe, so as not to offend her, maybe you can say, kamusta ka na? May narinig ako, I heard that you're taking some medication. Then she said, yes, actually, in fact, this is the result of steroid treatment. You see, it's nice to ask rather than interpret. So mind your nose. And lastly, under the sector or the category of the body, mindfulness of the body, mind your weight. Mind your weight. Again, I am not referring to your heaviness or lightness, but the weight of your decision making. So from the very beginning of this webinar, I told you already, what is important here is the day-to-day wise decision making. I think that could be your next webinar, no? How to make good day-to-day decision making. So in making decisions, let us not only listen to ourselves. President Trump is a very good person. He's a good decision maker, but he doesn't listen to people. That's why he lost, no? Because although he has good intentions, but he's not listening to people, especially it's the people who gave him the mandate to rule over them. So he lost because he's not listening. In the same manner, we will lose if we will only listen to our own perspective. Therefore, let us listen also to other persons' points of view. So, my dear friends, this is the first part of our 13 tips. Mindfulness in the body. Of the eyes, mind your ears, your mouth, temperature, nose, and weight. But as I told you, a human person is integrated body and soul. And therefore, this is, I think, the reason why I was invited, because this is of spiritual and religious sphere. Do not be afraid of the word soul. You have it actually with you, no? Matakot ka lang pag nakakita ka sa gabi. As my premise goes, we are an integrated body and soul. And the two, body and soul, need to work together for a better me and we. So that is why let me give you the next 6 tips, no, towards soul mindfulness. So the number one is in correlation with the eyes is mind your sights. Kanina, it's more of what you see. But here is what you see is not what everything there is. Huh? There are always things beyond what you see. And, especially siguro as people of the faith, put on the lens of faith, my dear friends, and you will see more. Huh? Put on the lens of faith and you will see more. We call this in theology or even philosophy as transcendence. What we ordinarily see has different meaning or a level up meaning that can give us, impetus in pushing for life all the more. Um, in my case now, here in Negros, in Cebu, I think there is still the strictness not to go out, no? But here in Negros, we are divided into different haciendas, sugarcane plantation, wide acres, no, of plantation. And some of the parish areas are far from civilization. I have to travel by rough road, literally with potholes and mga putik. And after each travel, ang sakit ng katawan ko. That's how rough it is. Sometimes I travel for 1 hour just to reach them. And I can still celebrate masses in the barrios, even with them not wearing masks, no, with the knowledge of their barangay captain. Pero you know what? Sometimes, from our eyes, simple eyes, we interpret these people as kawawa naman sila. They're so poor. Their clothes are so shabby. One time I was in the car and then I saw a young family coming forward in this direction. And then the father was carrying the baby, and then the wife was carrying an infant, and then another one was tagging along, no, behind her. You know what I saw? I was reminded of the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Really, especially when I greeted them, and then they smiled back at me. I said, "Who said they are kawawa? No way. They're happy. No, this simple living that they are used to, they are happy." Sometimes we put on our own lens of biases, no, to these kinds of people. So that is why, every person has a story to tell and has a lesson to teach us. Transcend your experiences by putting the lens of faith, and you will see more. The second is mind your listening. Do not just mind your ears, but mind your listening. It's funny also because when I was searching for a picture, what to post here, and then I typed listening, you know what comes out of the images, particularly in Google? Mostly are young people listening to earplugs, to AirPods, meaning individual listening. But there are seldom pictures wherein one person and another person talking. Before, that's the image of listening, right? But now listening is more on music, on more podcasts, etc. So mind your listening. Most of the time, the reality is we talk, just like me. I talk, you listen. But there's more to talk. There's more to share if we listen well. Okay? There's more to share. There's more to talk about, especially if we listen well. That is why in minding your listening, my dear friends and my dear father, you also mind your listening. Check your listening. If you are listening to simply respond, minsan ganun tayo, di ba? Nakikinig ka, may respond ka na, may response ka na. That's why you interrupt because you have sets of answers already. Or you're there to listen, to learn, or to know the person. So there are different ways of listening, pero mind your listening. If you are only listening to yourself, then I guess no, you will still listen the same way in the year 2021. The third is mind your words. Kanina, mind your mouth. But here, mind your words. Are your words encouraging? Are your words pleasing? Are your words selected so as not to hurt people? Are our words bringing heaven on earth? You know, in this time of pandemic, people are so sensitive. I am a witness in the parish. Everyone is kind of stressed, filled with anxiety. My goodness, so sensitive. That is why yung padungog-dungog, yung nagpaparinig ka, that is something stressful for other people. That is why let us be sensitive with our words so as not to hurt others. This is what we call prudence. And it entails a lot of knowing the people around you. Just to give you a very simple elementary example, you have 5 friends. You crack a joke, then one of them reacted negatively. So please, next time when you meet this friend of yours who reacted, please do not repeat the same joke or nature of joke. That's one way of knowing the person. Okay, so that is minding your listening, or rather, minding your words. You know, Saint Paul has a very beautiful quotation, which he said, let love be sincere. Hate what is evil. Hold on to what is good. Love one another with mutual affection. And this is my favorite word, anticipate. Anticipate one another in showing honor. If we apply this in our day-to-day decision making, please let us not react immediately. The social media has given us so much space to comment, to react. But it doesn't mean to say that we have to type immediately and then apologize later. That's what's happening now. We type, we realize, oh, it's a mistake. I'm sorry, apologize immediately. As much as possible, do not use that word apology. If you can prevent saying that word, I'm sorry or I apologize, please prevent in doing so. It's nice to apologize as a humble experience, pero in the context of making a reaction, especially in social media, and then later on, you know, the scandal has already been served globally. Dati pag nagchismis ka sa kapitbahay, iilan lang ang nakakaalam. Now, if you chismis in front of the social media, the whole world knows and they feast on it. So St. Paul is teaching us a lifetime good lesson. You anticipate, meaning to say, if, for example, I type this reaction, will the person, for example, will the person not react bad? Or will it cause a scandal? Will it have a negative ripple effect, etc.? Anticipate before you even say, I apologize. So that's very good of St. Paul, no, for us. Number 4, mind your sense of joy. I love this drawing. Look at that girl, no? Siguro tuwang-tuwa siya, no, na i-blow out siya ng kanyang boyfriend. So mind your sense of joy. There are 2 words here, happiness and joy. By the way, tomorrow is the 3rd Sunday of Advent. It's the Sunday of joy, Gaudete, joy, gospel of joy, or I mean the Sunday of joy. So happiness and joy are 2 different things, but they help one another. Happiness depends on a certain happening. This is from the same word. Happiness depends on a certain happening. For example, I am happy today because I am sharing something to the people. I am happy because it's my birthday. I am happy because I saw Mother Glenda after a long time. I am happy because I got high marks in the exams, even without cheating. O, diba? Sounds family. I am happy because I persevered listening to the webinar, etc. So happiness depends on a certain happening. But joy, on the other hand, is a lasting result of that happiness. And what happens with that? That happiness becomes a memory embedded in the heart, embedded in the mind, and that is joy. Happiness may be passing. For example, it's my birthday today, I'm happy. Tomorrow, it's not anymore my birthday, I'm not anymore happy. But the experience you underwent it can be embedded as a memory, a lasting memory. So therefore, whether it's chaotic outside, there's war outside, but those good memories, joyful memories are embedded there, it will never get away. So joy is more lasting than happiness, but they correlate with one another. You remember, my dear friends, Jesus telling a piece of bad news to his apostles. I remember this bad news of Jesus. He said, they will kill me. And so the apostles were protesting, Lord, you're such a good person. They will kill you? No way. And so, because of the drooping spirit, Jesus brought Peter, James, and John in a high mountain in Mount Tabor, and there he was transfigured before them. And what is this transfiguration? They realized finally that although they heard from their mindfulness that Jesus is the Messiah, they learned this time, seeing it, that he is indeed God. Why? He was talking with a long time dead person, the patriarch Moses and Elijah. And they know who is Moses and Elijah, but they never saw him. But he was at the center, and these two patriarchs were talking to him. And you know what Peter said? Lord, let us stay here. Let's pitch our tent here. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Why? He was so happy with the experience. He wanted that happiness to last for a long time. It brought joy to him. And you know what? Why I am narrating to you this story? Exactly because they remembered it and they wrote it down. And until now, thousands of years later, we still remember it. That is the effect of happiness and joy in our life. They will never go away. That is why in this pandemic, which is underlined, italicized, bold letters, size 88 font, Arial, black, temporary. COVID is temporary. What are permanent are the joyful, embedded experience and memory in our hearts and in our minds. That is why if you feel down, please go back and recall those joyful experiences, because those are the lasting things that God promised us and not these passing things. And you know what? Once you recall the joyful experiences, it will perk your spirit up. And maybe you can couple it with always remind yourself, may bukas pa, napayugbog, no? May buwas pa. Or maybe everything will be okay. There will always be a solution to this. So mind your sense of joy. Second to the last, mind your feelings and emotions. How many times have we heard that feelings are all valid? All feelings are valid, okay? What makes us rather is how we express these feelings. And once our feelings are expressed, these are what you call emotions. So that is why, how do you feel today? You put the emotion, the emojis, like you're smiling, blur, mga ganon. So feelings expressed are what we call emotions. For example, you are extremely happy today. How will you express it, right? So we are what we are by the way we express our feelings through our emotions. So for example, one is extremely happy, yet he was shouting on other people. Simang, no, it doesn't match. So if you are feeling extremely happy, then express it congruent to it. You know, one of my personal principles is to surprise people with goodness. Take note, I am not canonizing myself here, but just to give an example, because the principle of surprising people with your goodness is that there is a very big chance that they will remember God. A lot of people do not anymore remember God, but hopefully when you surprise them, and let me give you an example. I was one Sunday going to the parish church for my ministry, and I saw this woman selling, mga statwa. No, on one side Jesus nagakabit sa iyang abaga, and then another one is Jesus. I'm so jealous with her because can you imagine she's carrying Jesus and Mary, selling the statues to people house to house. So that was around 6:30 a.m. I finished my ministry around 11:30 and I want to go home to take my lunch. And I saw her again. But this time, no, I was looking at the statues. Sabi ko, may nagpalit na kaya? May bumili na kaya ng statues niya? And then I was really looking at it. And then I felt na parang hindi nabawasan eh. So I asked my driver, si Boss Berto, U-turn tayo. So yung Father, bakit? Go to that lady. So we went to the lady as if I want to buy, manang, tagpila man ang imong statwa manang. Sabi niya, ay Father, ganito. May nagpalit na sa imo manang, isa pa lang Father eh. Tapos I surprise her, manang, pang lunch mo. Binigyan ko siya ng 1 million. Joke lang. Now, I gave her money for lunch. My goodness, again, that smile is, my goodness, so meaningful. And I think, even without reading her mind, she was saying, thank you, Lord. So that's the beauty of surprising people with your goodness. And also, especially this month, December, I've been hearing people complaining like this. Why is it, Father, that only on December that people remember the street kids, they remember the orphans, they remember the home for the aged, and they become so charitable? Why is it only December? And then I said, it's okay. No problem. No, charity should not be rigid. Christianity should not be rigid. If they want to share the joy of Christmas on this particular month, why not? At least they remember or they brought the joy of Christmas. And surely those orphans, those street children from the home of the aged might also say, thank you, Lord, for this wonderful gift. And remember this, even those worst persons who secretly help a needy person can remind people of God. Hindi naman nila alam kung bad siya or good, right? And therefore, do something to surprise people with your goodness. Especially kamong mga kabataan. Don't tell yourself, I'm still young, I cannot do all those things. Come on. And lastly, number 6, and I think that's your favorite word, finally, mind your commitments. Age is just a number. Let me share to you this person here. Recently, we have a new saint of 15 years old. His name is Saint Carlo Acutis. He is the patron saint of dermatologists. Kasi maganda ang cutis. Joke. Saint Carlo Acutis. By the way, Saint Carlo Acutis is coming from a rich family. Why? Because they go around touring places. But their touring has a purpose. Why? Because Saint Carlo Acutis, after receiving the First Communion, was so engrossed with the Eucharistic miracles. Yung mga bread na nagiging flesh talaga, yung bread nagkakaroon ng blood. There's so many reported Eucharistic miracles. So what Carlo did to the family is, first, he frequented the Mass. The first convert of Carlo Acutis were his parents. Yung mga parents niya na hindi nagsisimba, napasimba niya. And then secondly, because they went to many pilgrimage sites of the Eucharistic miracles, he made this website. The link is there. Ganyan ang mga Italiano magbasa ng W. www.miracolieucharistici.org. Yan. miracolieucharistici.org. Please check it. That is exactly the website that Saint Carlo Acutis left us. He's already in heaven as a saint. My dear friends, are you a photocopy or just a simple Xerox of another person? That is how Saint Carlo Acutis expressed his love for God and his people, by promoting Jesus to others. You can have also your own way of promoting goodness of people or God himself or even apostolic works. So let us not simply be Xerox copy of another person or a photocopy of another person, but let us start making difference in the life of others. You remembered, I told you in the beginning that those happiness and joy are embedded in your hearts. You know, you can only fill the treasure box of joy if you get involved in people's lives. And please do start now. Because whatever good things that you are doing now, especially in your age as a young person, do not be limited only, huh? Do not be limited only with your student life. Huh? So everything that you do now is something foundational with what you will become later on as an adult. So this is the soul mindfulness: sight, listening, words, sense of joy, feelings, and emotion. In the title, I said it's 13, lucky number 13. These are only 12. No, these are only 12. So what is the 13th? The 13th is, of course, no, first of all, body, most likely in our mindfulness, caters to the external, no, and in our mindfulness of the soul, it caters to the internal. Huh? So what is the 13th? 13th is mind your hands and feet. Meaning to say, are your hands clasped together? Are your feet wobbling? Or they are synchronized? It means, are your body and your soul acting in cooperation with one another? Because if after this webinar, you realize that I overemphasize on my soul only and not on my body, or vice versa, then they need to work together, no? Symbolized by these arrow. Um, I think you remember that lady, those lady, yung mga vendors wala, nagabaligya, they're carrying heavy loads on their head. Maybe we can ask, is that heavy? Of course it's heavy. But the thing here is the balance between action, the balance between prayer, the balance between active, the balance between time for myself, the balance with studies, the balance with integration. It's all about balance. In the same manner, our body and soul must be integrated, that they should not contradict to one another. And so, my dear friends, no, anong tawag sa inyo, aerospacers, these are my reflections, 13 ways to see beyond the pandemic. Again, as I told you, we don't know what will happen in 2021, but at least I know what can happen to me entering a new year, that I have the chance to better and reset myself, no, as I enter the new year. So again, as my encouragement, it's okay, no, to look farther. Just like I know that this pandemic will end. I know that one day I will be already a professional taking care of airplanes or whatever, a pilot, mag-aasawa ko ng stewardess, di ba? Sikat. Pero what is important is, yeah, the long term is there. Just like, for example, for us Christians, heaven is awaiting us. But before even reaching that, what is important is to make our daily good decisions a daily commitment. So thank you for listening and for your patience. Lucky number 13, 13 ways to see beyond the pandemic. Thank you so much. Salamat, Gid.
Salamat, Gid Pat.
Thank you so much, Father Joriz, for that wonderful, awesome, and maybe I could also say inspirational talk. And increase kita ang atong faith and with God, no? Because the talk of Father is very inspirational. So once again, we are live also on Facebook. So for those of you who cannot enter to our Zoom, we are also live on Facebook. So pwede ra mo dito makakita through the talk of or this webinar of Father Joriz. So at this time, we will proceed with open forum. So you can chat your questions through our chat, or you can also use our Facebook account. So whatever questions you have, please do it now, because this is a very wonderful opportunity, a rare opportunity to ask Father. So sa ako lang notes na rin, I've been taking down notes. So Father mentioned that mind the body composed of mind, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, temperature, nose, weight. For your soul, mind, your sight, listening, words, sense of joy, feelings, emotions, commitment. And the number 13, mind, your hands and feet. And remember, this pandemics, as what Father mentioned, is only temporary. Okay, so we look forward to a better year for 2021. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask Father Joriz. Okay, paano man ni si Father? Panagsara ka ni Mukari sa IEU. So
You may
Father,
you may also chat. You may also type your question on the chat.
yes, you may also type your questions on the chat box. Okay. So, Father, I have a question here, Father. Since we are already using one, Father, online class with the new normal, so can I ask your insights about that, Father? That how can we, improve our communication to our students that they will be inspired to learn more and be active in this new normal learning, which is kung ano mga Father, online class naman me and also
Yeah. Thank you for that. No. It's always the word is accompaniment. Of course, when there is a schedule for classes, that is a mandate, no, that we have to be there in this time. Pero I think what is needed now is kamustahan even after the class, no, because that's also what we are doing when as advisors, di ba? We always take time, especially with the unstructured moments, kamustahan, no? Pero hopefully, students will open up to you, no? Kamustahan, and then have a family chat even, no? Schedule a family chat. It's nice kasi hindi ka makagawas. You cannot go out of the the place. So that's the thing that we can do there, no? To really chat, kamustahan, and maybe another thing is organize a prayer circle. For example, you are
years.
20 in the class. So every day you can pray two, no? Every day. So it's a prayer circle. Anything that really spells care, no, for one another is so important. I know when you talk to your students, teachers can also realize something about themselves. And unless no one cracks a conversation, there will be no conversation happening. So someone has to initiate the talk, the the conversations.
Okay, so ang katong mentioned ni Father, no, stay connected and have a prayer circle. So we really could really help with our students at time. So Father, by the way, Father, daghan kay ning kuha sa akong chat diri that there's a lot of Bosconians here listening to you, Father.
Hello, Bosconians.
Okay.
My original dream is to be a pilot. No, because here in Negros, this is the turning area of the plains before landing, yung Victorias, the northern part. That's why when
Okay.
I was young, I was so amused looking at the airplanes. I was even wishing before, sana mag-crash yung eroplano para sa amin lahat ng baggages. Sa childish wish, no. But
Okay.
now I'm still a pilot. I'm piloting souls to God.
Yes, piloting souls to God. Very wonderful.
So hello, Bosconians. Next month is our feast day of Saint John Bosco.
Yes. So there is a Indiana Aerospace. So many Bosconians here. There's a connection between IEU and the Bosconians. Father, another question. Father Joriz, any tips on how to kickstart 2021?
How to kickstart 2021. Number one, syempre, you are already at home with your family, no? So kickstart it with a very good family meal. A very good family meal. If by chance you can go out, no, and go to mass as a family, go to mass as a family, so that all the blessings will be given not only to one but to the family. No. Secondly, I want you to go back to what you heard and then try to examine yourself pili ka lang dyan. No? Which among them do I need to kickstart, especially trying to troubleshoot, quote unquote? Is it my eyes that I cannot control? Is it my ears that I listen to negative things? Is it my mouth because I'm too negative? Is it my mood that I always change? Is it my nose? No, because I interpret a lot of things, no, rather than asking. Is it my weight? That is my poor decision making that leads me to poor grades, no, or poor attitude. Or in connection with the soul, is it the way I see things? I always complain. Is it on listening, for example, because I always give answers rather than learning from others, etc., etc. So those are tips actually where you can kickstart. Get one or two from, for example, try to align maybe the eyes and the sights, maybe the ears and the listening, the mouth and the words. I can give you the text if you like so that you can review something.
Yes,
I can
Father.
easily share it to you. Huh?
Okay,
So
Father.
that's my tip to you, how to kickstart. It's all about you entering the new year. It's not the new year entering you. It's you entering the new year, right?
You
Huh?
entering the new year.
It's you entering the new year. So you bring yourself to that new year. So whatever happens, if you have that sense of balance in the way you see things,
Mm-hmm.
then I think you are in a good direction.
All right. So it's you entering the new year. So it's not the new year will come to you. It's your one, Father, no? It's your attitude and how
Yes.
to come for the coming 2021. Doon na ba, Father? December 12.
Goal
So
na.
2 weeks now, Christmas, and maybe 3 weeks after, New Year na sad.
Yes.
Okay, Father, I have another question, Father. I think parent siya. My kids are very hooked in with games and videos in the internet. How can I help my
Hmm.
kids?
Can I share screen again?
Yeah, sure, Father. Go ahead.
Okay. Because I have a bonus screen actually here. Can you
Oh,
see
that,
it already?
yes, Father, I can see it.
Okay. So these are actually common parenting challenges during the pandemic times. This was given this morning only, no, by a certain Lilian Nang Gui, no, to our Bosconians here in Don Bosco. These are four. Actually, she shared seven, but I only put here four. Number one is struggling with schedule. I think every parents no, are struggling with this. So the solution is create a simple structure, no, wherein everyone can agree. But you know what? Young people, especially nowadays, they are at least what is important is the regular sleep, the regular eating, no? But sometimes they needed some airspace, no, to answer their projects, not necessarily on this time, no, because sometimes they're so filled up with so many things already that they cannot think at this moment of study period, shall we say, no, and therefore they might sleep now and then later on they will wake up around 2 o'clock to make the project, etc. So create a structure, but with consideration to each individual. May kanya-kanya yan eh. Challenge number two, constant togetherness. Solution is balance together time and alone time. That's important. Even for parents, for parents, don't forget not only to stress together time, but alone time also. You need also to distress. No, you need also to eat. You need also to pamper yourself. Come on, You need also to pahangin, etc. So don't forget the alone time. Together time is always there. Kasi nga, we are all in the same four corners of our houses. So together time is given, but the alone time is very important. Number three, news overload. And I suppose we can insert here the question of the parent, no? Manage media consumption. Unfortunately, for others, they have started the discipline of managing media consumption at a younger age, no? And therefore, they grew up with this, subculture in the family, managing their media. But for others who just started, teenagers na mga anak, ang hirap na, no, mag-manage. And therefore, some are already screen dependent and addicted. If that is the case, kung may addiction na, of course, a counselor needs to be called the attention because that's beyond our normal capacity, no, to solve. Pero kung manageable naman yung anak, manageable naman, nakikinig naman, I think we cannot also deprive, no, our young people with playing computers. Why? I saw this in MRT. I was riding an MRT. Sinubukan ko kung masikip o hindi. So I ride an MRT Makati to Quezon City. And when I was there standing up, I saw a family, mother, and then the father, and then yung anak na lalaki. The son was being held by the mother. Ganun siya. And then he was enjoying the view from outside kasi ang laki ng bintana. Well, the father, no, was busy playing PSP. Was busy playing. Ang tanda mo na naglalaro ka pa. You take care of your son because of the deprivations. That is why in managing, I think, media consumption, it's really how you pep talk. No, kausapin mo siya. You're not depriving them, but you are giving them schedule, proper way and use of time. Of course, dapat meron din silang free time to use their cell phones or gadgets. It's easy to say, it's difficult to do. It's easy to say. I'm very honest with this. It's so easy to give tips, but in reality, it's so difficult. And lastly, different personalities, the solution, engage and support. Address individually your children. Thank you.
All right. So, I think you mentioned your father, no? We're struggling with schedules, create structure, constant togetherness, challenge number 2, balance to time and alone time. The challenge about news overload, manage media consumption, and challenge number 4, different parents engage and support. Okay, so claro ka nang mention ni Father there. And also, very important also our time. Okay, so any more questions with Father? By the way, Father, somebody here chatted me that he is from Coando. Hi, Father, I am from Don Bosco, Dumaguete. So,
yeah. Brother George mentioned him during lunchtime. There is a student from St. Louis School, Don Bosco, Dumaguete. Hello to you.
Yes, Father. Okay. So, another question here. Father, ha? Listening on Father, right? This one, Father, about, I'm just curious, Father, about online mass. Online mass, because what tips can you give, Father, para our students or our children maybe will be very attentive, because sometimes attending online mass is also could be a challenge for parents because there's so many distractions.
Okay. So first thing that you need to do, no, look for an online mass that is attractive to you. Okay, that's very practical, right? Not all online masses are attractive to the audience. So for example, some are choosing Cardinal Tagle because the way he explains the catechism, the homily is like catechesis. They learn a lot. So select your preacher. No, select your preacher so as not to get bored. No, because sometimes maybe others are pressured. Let's attend the mass of the parish. But if your parish, no, sorry to say, I'm very frank and honest, are not good preachers, then do not attend. Okay, do not attend. Look for an attractive because in that case, you will look forward to the next Sunday, di ba? Kasi nga naman kung boring diyan wag ka na lang magsimba. Hindi. So have a good online mass. I think Mother Glenda, I call her Mother Glenda because in the class she calls me father. So and since she is a mother with a very beautiful smile, so I call her, "Hey Mother Glenda." So that's one thing, no? And of course, be regular with it. But if you can go out, because I think the IATF allows naman that others can go out, then you go to the real mass. The the TV or the online masses are temporary substitute, or rather a substitute, but they are really far from the real mass. But at least we are making holy the Sunday mass, because maybe other parents are so strict that they don't allow because COVID is real, and it's understandable. But one thing is making the Sunday holy, because there's an available venue for it to make holy even at home. And another is not making it holy. Kahit alam mo nang meron, hindi mo pa rin kinikater yung online masses. So I think that's it, no? We need to avail of what is available if we cannot go out. Kasi ang utos naman is to make Sunday a holy day. And that's a good day, no? That's a good day for the family. And after hearing, for example, the mass, you can have a chat about the homily. I know about a family in Lourdes Parish who after attending my mass, online mass, they will share to me, "Hey, Father, we have a very good discussion about some of your points in the homily." Sabi ko, wow, that's impressive. And these are family of lawyers, by the way.
Wow. Maybe you can send us a link, Father, of one of your mass, Father. Or
Kaso baka
from
pag-send ko ng link, sabi, ay, ito yung boring na pare.
you know what? It's
Sa
not.
page niya, Sir Darwin, sa page.
Ma'am Luz, Ma'am Glenda, do you have also any questions with Father?
Thank you for
Maybe
not
also
asking.
School, our school director, Dr. Legaspi.
Hi,
Ma'am,
Doc.
do you have any thing to add with Father Joriz? Because if not, I have another question here from one of our students. Father, how to make ourselves comfortable with interacting to others? How to make ourselves comfortable with interacting to others?
First, be comfortable with yourself.
Okay.
Why will you pretend? Why will you pretend? Secondly, of course, when you interact with others, do not be presumptive, meaning to say, do not act out. Uh, your words should be, gentle, no, and kind, no, and maybe if you are the ones reaching out, maybe the best is to listen. The
Okay.
best way is to listen first, getting to know one another, and never enter a topic that you are not comfortable. That's very practical, no? So, and then of course, be sure that your motivation in reaching out or interacting with others is clear, no? So, ganoon.
Be yourself. You mentioned it, Father, no? Love yourself, know your topic. Nakatong balik ko atong sa online mass. Kay choose a mass that you like. Na dili so boring. Tama ba ko, Father?
Yes, very much.
Okay, so I think we don't have any more time. I have so many questions here.
Sir Darwin, may
Oh,
I
yes,
ask
ma'am.
one more?
Yes, ma'am Glenn. Yes, ma'am Glenn. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Sir Darwin. Father, thank you so much we really gain a lot, no, and learn a lot from your talk. There's something
Recollection.
that I want to ask from you, Father, with regards to because this year is the year of ecumenism, right, Father?
Tapos na.
Okay. Now, in line lang sa ano ba? Because right now, I'm handling both Catholic and non-Catholic. Okay. So, any advice, Father? any advice na as a teacher sa campus ministry nga, how would I would be effective to both Catholic and non-Catholic nga. Usually magud ang reaction once naaday mga reaction against so just para effective.
I'll forward to you a book.
Okay.
I'll forward to you a book. It's nice to read also, especially from the learnings of other people doing ecumenical movements and interreligious dialogue. That's one important thing, no? Because it's not only experiential, no, but we need also principles, no? Secondly, in the practical tone, especially in campus ministry, I think, yeah, it's so hard to talk about commonalities, about dogmas or doctrines. but we have commonalities in virtues and values. No, I think even Pope Francis, his new evangelization is an opposite. Instead of the doctrine first and then the action, no, he is more on the action side, a common action by all young people of different faith. Now, for example, uh, with this Laudato Si, the care for the environment, that's a common concern by everyone, no, which is taught by all types of religion. Then find the commonality, especially in action. Then from there, you can have a very strong voice of influence, no, that the macro world is being experienced here in this micro place in our school or setting. Uh, just a sharing, after the strong earthquake in Bohol that also was felt here in Cebu, um, I gathered some donations, and then I brought, no, the donation of I think 1 trillion pesos, no, joke lang, sa bishop ng Bohol. And then the bishop was so, syempre, was so accommodating by telling me the story na, the first one to approach me in rebuilding the church are the Mormons. The Mormons. There are religions or other denominations who are not open in working together. So identify those who can work, no, especially with our style. No? Pero at the same time, if your plataforma is attractive to everyone, like common concerns, I think you can attract young people. Because our young people thinks global na ngayon. For us adults and midlifers, our Catholic faith is more of moralist ang dating, legalistic, right? That is why when we combine adults and young people in discussions, you will really see this, that we were trained in a moral light and also legalistic way of looking at things. Now, Pope Francis is changing that. He's trying to change it pastorally. And the good thing with the Christus Vivit document, it tells us that young people are now global in their thinking. In one word, inclusive.
Thank you so much, Father.
Thank you, Mother.
Ma'am Glenda, you're okay. All right. So, Father Joriz, thank you so much for answering our open forum. Before we start this webinar, Father, when I first saw you, I told Ma'am Luz and Sir Adrian that I think the face of Father is very familiar to me. I think I attended one of your mass, Father, here in Cebu.
Mm-hmm.
Familiar ka na ba yung face, Father? So I was right. You really had a mass here in Cebu, and you think you preside also one of this, Father, no?
Yes.
Okay. So at this time, we will proceed with the presentation of Certificate of Appreciation to be presented by our ever dynamic, ever smart, very intelligent. That's all the positive things I could say to our Student Affairs Officer Director, Ma'am Luz Kahayagan. Ma'am Luz.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Father Joriz.
Hello, may hapon.
Thank you so much, good Father, for spending your time with us and for sharing as well your, of course, wisdom, not only knowledge.